So,
Awesome.
so I'm having a chat with Eugene of Gogol Bordello. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Thank you for having me.
That my pleasure indeed. So let's start off and talk about a new single of yours that we've been playing, which is called Solidarity, which has Bernard Sumner of New Order on there. Tell us a bit about the track and tell us about Bernard being on there as well.
Well, as you know, it's a kind of track that, first of all, it's a angelic upstarts song that served its original purpose back in, I think it was 81 when the Poland was fighting against the Soviet bloc dictatorship, and so the song was written in purpose of solidarity with that movement from Gdansk, and just witnessing everything that's happening now. This track kind of bubbled up to my to my surface again, and it's just the words are so relevant with what's going on in Ukraine now.
Mm.
And I told Bernard about it, and we met over the years on some festivals, and I'm a huge Joy Division fan, and as it's probably quite evident from amount of bass lines that Gogol Bordello have stolen from Joy Division, for those in the know. And so talked to Bernard, talked to a couple other musicians from UK. It's actually very it's a all British collab. It has Angelic Upstart, Neil Newton. It has Bernard Sumner. It has Steve Sadelnik. Um, you know,
Mm.
and Zachary Allen Starkey also is on it, doing extra synth work. So yeah, it's kind of was basically the urgency of what's happening in Ukraine kind of brought it all together, and everybody kind of brought in some what their specialty is, and it was of course amazing to have Bernard do his own mix of the song.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's now been just over a year since your last record. Have we now started to think about the next record now?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, it's in the works. Um, it's kind of this particular single is actually kind of a gateway into the next record. We remain to be a kind of a musical Peter Pan. I mean, we're
Mm.
Gold Bordello has been always dancing around the punk rock and hardcore, and making our own playground out of it, so-called gypsy punk. But essentially, if you put our albums back to back, you'll see kind of how drastically different they are, and kind of aiming in the new album to bring some more hard edged techno elements into it. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Sounds good to me. And it's obviously been over 20 years now since your debut, probably about 25 now since you guys all got together. How have you evolved and how has the music evolved since your debut through until now?
Well, that mileage alone will, with the kind of people that we are, which are quite adventurous people, and you know, it's it's kind of interesting as I reflect more on this time that the band has been around. It's kind of not really a band. It's more like a egregor, as they say in esoteric terms. It's a more of some kind of a cloud that attracts certain kind of individuals. And I mean, of course, we have a core of the band. We have our core four members, but they've been since the beginning with the band. But you know, new people come in, they bring in a lot of newness with them. The
Mm.
synergy transforms, and that was the kind of whole idea from the get-go. I mean, there was never really a kind of a 1 year where the lineup remained to be the same. It's like even from the first shows, from show to show, it's kind of had that was the concept of it. We'll have the core, and we'll have a bit of a revolving door. and the touring kind of really sorted it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because just some people just perish on tour and don't ever want to do it again, or some of them are addicts for it, like us. You know, so that newness that new players, new musicians bring in is kind of really essential to our trajectory and development. And you know, as I said, that's why all those albums are kind of so drastically different, you know, while still dancing around that primordial, you know, punk fire.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on touring there. You've been on tour. It's your last day in the UK today. How's the touring been?
Oh man, fucking UK is our place, you know. I mean, it was our place since the day one, but there's just we can't we can't get enough of that kind of connection with the audience that actually can not only throw wild energy down, but also is able to contextualize music, you know, and kind of see it and kind of see all the components and elements that we put into it. You know,
Mm.
it's not it's not a fact that, you know, when we play, say, in you know, far away lands, let's say, it's not a fact that they really absorb Gogol Bordello for what it is. I mean, people can relate to many different denominators, and great, we thank them for it. But I think because we're so yeah, influenced by just so much music that came from England, that people from England are very able to dig into it and see it for what it is. So, you know,
Mm.
like PIL, and you know, and the specials, and you know, and you know, Adrian Sherwood, and just like super underground music from England that influenced us for years. It's really only here and then maybe a bit in New York and Berlin, you know, people kind of can see the whole the whole pie, you know, all the layers.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And you've still got some more US dates coming up at the end of the year, and then we're into 2024. What does next year hold for you guys? What's the plan?
Well, the plan is to make a new record, so that's already set in motion. And as I said, we're gonna go and give a crazy ass motherfucking shot to a gypsy punk techno. I mean, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be fully synthetic. It's gonna be full. As I said, it's gonna have that element that we kind of were always attracted to.
Mm.
Um, Actually, in a way, if you really listen to Gogol Bordello, you'll kind of see that techno's always been there as a rhythmical platform. I mean, a lot of drummers, when they listen to Gogol Bordello, the first thing they'll say is like, "Where's the fucking snare? Why don't I have a fucking snare? Why is the snare so sparse and rare?" And kind of leads back to the basics of as I was getting into punk rock, and but I was also, you know, yeah, I went to a lot of raves, and that time it was new culture bubbling up, and the basicness of it, the primitive, primordial kind of is very kind of you know, became one of the main stomping legs of Gogol Bordello.
Yeah.
And so you know, that's a kind of how to take gypsy punk to the next level is going to be probably the tunnels is going to be dug through that. And you know, also, you know, I'm quite busy just producing myself other bands in New York City. I mean, I have a label. I mean, I've had it all along. It's just I kind of used it as a platform for Gogol Bordello, but now starting to sign new artists, and Puzzle Panther is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had a single out produced by your very own UK Nick Launay, um, which was an amazing treatment, really, from Nick to add to, you know, to Puzzle Panther you know, energy. Just kind of the mix really exceeded our our vision. And another songwriter I just also got on our label is Grace Berger. Um, very kind of strikingly, uh, yeah, just stunning songwriter. You know, perhaps more from melancholy land, somewhere kind of inspired by Muzzy Star and PJ Harvey and just great names like that. You know,
Mm.
but kind of getting really busy in New York with young New York bands who are inspired by no wave movement. You know, I think it's kind of finally we're seeing resurgence of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like to talk a little bit about the writing side of things. How do tracks normally start off for you? Is it a lyric or a melody first? Is it a riff? What works for you?
You know, over the years, all of those every which way has been employed, but it seems like most of the time the music comes and kind of spearheads the linguistics, and the words come on the wings of the melody.
Mm.
And it kind of has to do a lot with your energy management, actually. um, and I kind of leave it up to that. I mean, I did try to kind of write methodically, whether there's inspiration or not, but I kind of at the end of the day found it to be pretty detrimental. And so reverse fully back to, the music will always come if you have free energy,
Mm.
if you have energy that's above average, above if you have enough energy, that's overflowing, the melody will always come, and that will bring the rest. Once I have that Rubik's cube of words and melody put together, more or less, then my favorite part begins, which is bringing to the band, and then the band starts, doing more things with it, and sometimes executing it just dead on the money, or sometimes waiting till it develops. Sometimes you think it's going to be some speedy anthem, and that becomes a ballad,
Mm.
or it starts like a ballad and becomes some maniacal jamatron, which is how we like it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And once you've kind of got your lyrics and the melody sorted, how easy does everyone else find it to put their own elements to it? Because you're not just a simple four-piece band. You've got extra instruments in there from accordion and violin and two lots of percussion. How does it all kind of fit together, and how easy is it to create the finished track?
Actually, as I said, that's pretty much where the most uplifting and energizing part of the process is. It's I mean, the style we have is quite, you know adventurous, and at the same time we kind of know what we're doing at this point within our style, and while pushing its kind of boundaries, it's still the grooves that that everybody in the band, they kind of fall around the similar grooves, and feel similar instinct
Mm.
to where we're heading with that song or not. Just yesterday on a sound check, I brought in two new songs, and it was actually really satisfying how quickly band converted it into its language, into its own Esperanto. Um, it was, I mean, within an hour, we had like a pretty good maquette of what it's going to be, and it's great because you know to write a song, create that kind of the vision for it is one thing. Then you kind of, with a trust, you hand it over to everybody else, and it evolves when it evolves in the right direction is just a really sheer joy, to see it sculpted kind of by collective subconscious of the band. Yeah. As I said, so egregor is a better word. It's a kind of there's some other seems to be like a cloud of a perception that sort of guides guides members, musicians, action musically. That's what it feels like.
Good, good, excellent. Eugene, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Yes, thank you for having me. Absolutely.